Hello. Right now I'm working on building out some perennial beds, and I'm going to be placing them here in these green sections that are void right now, up against this kind of river rock layer that I've thrown on. And as per my last video, this model is slow and quite lagging with all of this geometry that's included with the rocks here. So first thing I'm going to do is just hide that from my tags so that I am freed up to work a bit in this area. Alright, and I'm just going to throw in a simple perennial bed here. So let me show you the steps. I'm going to start with a rectangle and just line that out in here. Going to go ahead and paint it the color of dirt. And then this is going to be my bed that all of my perennial flowers will rest in. So let me make sure that lines up with the rest of these stones in here. Okay, cool. Okay, so there's kind of the foundation for my bed. I'm gonna go ahead and make it a group. And then to fill this in with the plants that I'm looking for, I'm going to be pulling out of the 3D warehouse. And for those of you that have never used the 3D warehouse, it's a very handy tool. It does have its own limitations though. And that can be found, it's up here, top left in the Windows tab. Scroll down, we've got the 3D warehouse. And I've been looking up perennials, so you can type anything in here and see what the 3D warehouse will spit you out. These are all models that other people have created and then uploaded for free download. And so there's quite a decent catalog here of different plants you could use, and let me just kind of show you, again, if you haven't done this before, what this entails. But so click on the model, download it, say OK, let's throw it in, and boom, there I've got a flower, or a perennial flower I should say. And once it's in my model, I can manipulate it to suit whatever I need. And what I've done, because I do have a very hit and miss success with pulling models out of the 3D warehouse, is I've gone ahead and already downloaded this little library of models that are working well with what I've got going. So this is kind of my catalog that I'm pulling from. I've got a couple of shrubs over here, grass, and a handful of perennials to work with. And when pulling from the 3D warehouse, set up this little example, but these are all three different types of Carl Forester Calamagrostis grass, and three different examples. One on the right's got a shadow included with it. This one in the middle has kind of got some weird geometry going with it where it's multi-sided. But what I don't like about this one is this black perimeter line. I do not like to have that in my model. And then I've got this one here, and it's just a 2D rendering, and this one on the left and this one on the right are both 2D face me models, which means whatever direction you move, they are going to face you. But that's just kind of an example of the variety that you can pull from out of the 3D warehouse. And so with these guys being appropriate for what I'm going for, I'm going to go ahead and plug some of them in. So I'm going to select them, hit my move tool, and then on Mac it's the option button to duplicate, and then I can just pull from this little catalog and rest it right in here. Let me see whereabouts I want this. Again, I'll just duplicate that again. Throw another one right next to it. Select a grass. And these steps in here with laying these out, I mean, it does help for the actual infield install, can kind of give you an idea of how you want things to lay, and gives you a great representation of their arrangement together and with one another, how it'll look. A lot of the times in landscaping, plantings are done in threes. It's not a hard rule, but it is aesthetically pleasing a lot of the times. I have many people, many homeowners and customers ask me all the time, well, doesn't it have to be planted in threes? And I say, well, it's helpful and it adds to the aesthetic, but that all goes back to what the homeowner is after. Are they after a structured look, or are they after something that's a bit more natural, free-flowing, kind of native appeal? And so it's really all up to the homeowner. But it's just kind of I'll create something that's pleasing, something that I think looks nice in how these all sit together, and then again turn that over to the homeowner for their approval or their feedback. So let's throw a few more of these in. And I really like this method of getting your own library going, your own kind of catalog of a handful of plants that you're going to work with, import them in, and then duplicate and adjust from there. Because I feel like in the 3D warehouse, more times than not, the models do not work. And once I get this in place, I'll kind of show you an example of models that don't work well when imported from the 3D warehouse. Okay, so there's a bed. I think it looks pretty nice. And again, most of these are 2D Face Me models, which work out quite well. They're easygoing on the operating side of the house, whereas they're not that complicated with a bunch of geometry. It's just a 2D image that rotates with you. And what I would do again in here is create a a new folder. Let me go turn this back off. Create a new folder to hide these. And same thing per my last video, come in here and click away at these to speed up the model. And then boom, I've got them there. And I've gone ahead and already done that on the back side up here. And boom. So that's what it's going to look like. Let me show you real quick what a bad 3D model looks like when importing from the 3D warehouse. So I go back to my perennials collection here. Let me select this one, load that into the model. And so you see when I bring this in, it still has the little human tethered in with this model. So what I'm after is this pretty perennial here, but it's not going to work with this human still attached in the model. And a lot of them have extra BS that you don't need. And so it kind of takes a while to sort through the 3D warehouse to see what works and what doesn't. Okay, so let me throw those back up. Perennial bed in the bottom, perennial bed up top, and then I've got my boulders. Alright, so there it is, building out a perennial bed. Pretty simple. The two parts to it, the 3D design actually and using this software to bring it in, and then the landscape design side of which plants go well. And of course this is all heavily dependent on which region you live in, what plants are appropriate, what will grow well, what will thrive, because there is a large discrepancy between what is pretty, what is aesthetic, and what is functional and what is sustainable. So these are things that I like to talk to the homeowners about and kind of get their opinions. Many homeowners have strong opinions on, I don't want yellow flowers, or I love white flowers, I want everything in white. And then from there I can talk to them about, okay, well in this climate that we're working in, this plant, this plant, this plant will do well to fit that bill of it has white flowers or no flowers at all. So the design part is very handy, but the knowledge of your local climate, what you're working with, what the homeowners want, is the real bread and butter that we're after. that brings together a really nice landscape. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.